Bruce wants to know, what are your thoughts or recommendations on converting tax-deferred 401k funds to an index universal life contract? This strategy is being recommended by other financial planners, but seems to be very complex and needs to avoid becoming a modified endowment contract, also known as a MEC.
Okay, so I could go on to a huge tangent here, Bruce. What I will say is this, is that if you think about insurance in its purest form, insurance is supposed to be a transfer of risk. All right, so life insurance in its truest form is meant to insure the life of an individual and protect the people that individual leaves behind in the event that that person's no longer able to provide for the family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It can also be used to pay for estate taxes and things like that. I've never been a huge fan of looking at life insurance as an investment. So in other words, overfunding that life insurance policy, taking money out of an IRA, putting it into a life insurance policy with the promise of tax-free income in the future. All right, here's the secret. This is how it works. All right. So what happens is I'm gonna take the word life insurance out of this for just a second, Chris, and I'm gonna use car insurance as the example. All right. So let's say that you are driving your car, and we'll just, for sake of the podcast here, we'll say we're driving a Chevy pickup.
Okay.
Okay. And it's costing us $1,200 a year or $100 a month to insure that Chevy pickup.
Yep.
We've got all the regular limits of liability, the collision, all that, good deductible or whatever. And the insurance agent comes to you and says, hey, Chris, we got a new policy here. We got a new car insurance policy. Now, it's going to have the same limits of liability. It's going to have the same collision, all the other same deductible. That's all you're going to say. But the difference is, instead of you paying $1,200 a year, we're going to ask you to pay us $10,000 a year. And then what we're going to do, the insurance company, we're going to take that money and we're going to put it into these indexed funds over here.
Yep.
And we're going to make some money on that. Okay. We don't know how much. We're going to just promise you that you're never going to lose anything, but you may average 5 or 6% on that money over time. Okay. If you're lucky. And if you want to use that money in the future, we'll loan it to you.
I'm not following. Yeah.
But that's the way life insurance works, Chris, right? You overfund a policy that's meant to provide a death benefit.
Mm-hmm.
The insurance company takes that money. They make money on it. You want to use it, you have to borrow it. The reason the income from those universal life policies is tax-free is because it's a loan. It is a loan of your own money, okay? And by the way, you already paid taxes on the money when it came out of the tax-deferred plan. Now you put it into the tax-free plan. When you're spending your own money, it's not taxable. When you borrow money, it's not taxable.
Right.
Look, you'll never, ever, you can't make the math work on these things. You can't make the math work. Have you run into this, Chris?
I have run into this a lot. And what I always tell clients that come to me is the first rule of thumb is, if it seems to be complex or you can't explain it to a 5-year-old, you ought not to invest in it. That's my general rule of thumb. The second thing I always look at is, we talked about it before with the government, is how is the person getting paid? A lot of times advisors use these commissionable products to pitch the idea of what could happen in the future. And they don't recognize that they're getting a big upfront commission. So they're not really there to stick around for the long haul if they get an upfront commission.
Right. Most of these policies like this, I'm not going to say all of them because a lot of them are different, but most of them will pay the insurance agent, okay? I won't call them a financial planner. I'll call them an insurance agent, okay? Or a financial salesperson, because that's really what they're doing here.
Yep, that's more accurate.
They'll get a commission that's maybe 100% of the first year premium. Okay, and who's going to win? Insurance company wins, and the insurance salesman wins, and the individual that loses is the person that does it. Don't do it.
Yep.
Bruce, I'm going to tell you, don't do it.
Yep. And the other thing that flies under the radar, I think, a lot of these policies is these insurance companies will change the crediting options year 1 or year 2. They're not obligated.
You're right. They can change the rules anytime they want to.
Absolutely.
On any anniversary date. And guess what? You're stuck with it. Mm-hmm. And they know that.
So what sounds like 100% of the S&P 500 quickly gets reduced to capped at 10%, 9%, 8%. We've seen it happen all the time.
Yeah. I don't like them.
Yeah.
And Bruce, if you need us to walk up against whoever is telling you to do this and we can analyze it for you, we're happy to do it.
Yep.
Starting your route to retirement.